Hello, everyone. Welcome to the new episode of the Hardcore FPB podcast. I'm Claudio, your host, and today I have the pleasure to introduce my new guest. It's Dr. Eléonore Vatin. Did I pronounce it correctly? Sorry,
Yeah,
Eléonore?
so I'm French, and in French it's like
Yes.
Eléonore Vatin. So it's a very different way of pronouncing it, but I'm fine.
Eléonore, okay. Eléonore Vatin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. Eléonore Vatin. So need to, because I wasn't sure if it's Eléonore, Eléonore, with the
Yeah,
with
usually
French.
Italian guys
Yeah.
are saying Eléonore, but it's Eléonore, and yeah, nobody's
Eléonore.
able to pronounce
Okay.
it properly here, so I'm used to it.
Okay. Perfect. Cool. It's now printed in my brain. I'm not gonna mispronounce it anymore. Elonore is a women's physique, actually women's bodybuilding athlete. Just switched to women's bodybuilding recently, but we're gonna explain that shortly. And just wanted to say thank you for joining me today in this
Thank you for having me
episode, which I
here.
believe is 11. And it would be nice, to have a little chat and get to know an athlete that has been becoming quite popular recently after your competitions, especially the one in the UK and Sweden, which were your most recently, right? Yes, if you wanna say something about yourself, introduce where you're from, your origins, now you live in UK, your bodybuilding career, and so on.
So I travel a lot. I'm French. So I stayed like 17 years in France, and then I moved to Romania for my studies because I'm a vet.
Romania, okay.
Yeah. So I did all my veterinary studies in Romania. So
So
stayed
you're a
6 years.
veterinary surgeon, right?
Yes, I'm a veterinary surgeon. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Mhm.
So I studied in Romania. Stayed 6 years in Romania. I competed. My first competing season was in 2021 in Romania.
Okay.
And I did like national shows.
At the Muscle Fest? Was it
Yeah,
the Muscle Fest? Yeah.
Yeah, so I did national shows because like they have national teams and stuff for bodybuilding in Romania. And I've done my first NPC show was Valahia Warrior, which is a regional in October.
Okay,
And
I know that.
I won the regional in figure. So then I went for Muscle Fest because I had a free entry for the show. So I was like, why not? Because I don't have to pay. So I just went there and same did figure, but of course, like I didn't do well because I was very, very small. It was my first competing season. I was fully natural.
I thought you were saying. Okay, I thought you were saying you were too big for figure. That's why.
Oh no! At this point,
not
I was
at the time.
small.
Okay.
No, in 2021, I was very small. I was natural. So
okay.
Nothing. I just your himbin, but that's it, which is still approved. So I was completely natural. I was very small. I was very shredded though, but I was still like not massive. So I think I finished like not the last one, but second to last. Because of course, like Muscle Fest, the level is very high, and I was just like not good enough. But I had absolutely like zero expectation going there, just because I didn't have to pay. I was like, it's a good opportunity for me to just experience you
did the right thing. It's an experience as well. So
and it's a very big show, so I was like, let's go, let's just see how it goes. So I finished my season with this show. And then I was like, I'm very small, I need to grow, I like competing. So I'm just going to start with enhancement so I can just kind of fast track a bit. Because like I've always been very dedicated, working very hard, working very well, training hard, training well. Like everything was already perfectly managed, right? So I was just like, with enhancement, it will just enhance my actual work. And I can get more from what I'm doing right now already. So I started
Yes.
with like enhancement just after this last competition. So I did my recovery phase, of course, and then I started with PEDs. So I just took 2 years, two full years of off season. I did a cut in between, about 6 months. But yeah, most of the time I was in off season, and just to be able to grow and be big enough for figure, because I competed in figure, and it was
Oh,
just a
yeah.
category that
You
was,
wanted to
yeah, it was
continue.
fitting
Yeah.
me the best at this point. So in my mind, for the whole off season, I was a figure competitor, right? And I was training for figure because the way I'm seeing myself, I was like, I need to grow a lot, because also I've seen the athlete at Muscle Fest, the figure girls, and they were huge. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I need a lot more
Yeah.
mass. So this is why, like,
And
I took the time
also,
off.
were you comparing with the figure girls in the amateur show or also in the pro show?
Well, I
Because
think as an amateur, you need to compare
have you
yourself
seen
to the
both?
pros.
Pardon?
I think as an amateur, like, you need to compare yourself to the pros, right? Because you're going for a pro card. Like,
Fair enough.
as an amateur, the ultimate
Yeah.
goal is getting a pro card, right? So you need to get a pro worthy
Yeah,
physique.
because
Like, if you look like an
exactly,
amateur,
because that's where you want to go when you want your goal to compete with these girls on the pro stage, of course. Yeah.
exactly, like, you need to get a pro worthy physique if you want a pro card. So it's like comparing
Yeah.
yourself to the best amateurs, but also to the pros, because you have to reach kind of the pro standard to become a pro, right?
True. True.
So
So yeah.
then after that, so I
No.
finished
No.
my studies
Yeah. Please
and I
continue.
moved to the UK. So I'm living in the UK at the
Okay.
moment, and competed this year.
And sorry.
Competed this year, and
Oh
my
yeah. 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 Yeah.
second
Exactly.
season
Yeah.
ever.
I actually. Yeah. Yes, and this season, I mean, I saw you for the first time competing in London. I was there, as I mentioned to you, and I remember, yeah, when we saw you entering the stage with that conditioning and size. I thought, okay, this girl is gonna win. We were sure that, of course, it was a tough lineup, even for amateur. They were all great athletes, especially the winner Christy, the Australian lady. Yeah, she did very well in the pro show as well.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, but I mean, on that stage. It's the one that caught our attention most was you
well,
in that show in London, because he had so much potential. And okay, you didn't win the pro card in that show, you didn't win the pro qualifier, but at the same time, yeah, we strongly believe that next season you're gonna achieve a lot, especially with your new goals and
yeah.
targets.
Like, let's say it was a very unexpected season. Like, it didn't go. Like, I was not planning that at all, because I started as figure, right? Because the last time I competed in 2021,
Yeah,
I was too small for figure. So I was like, no, I'm growing and I'll be big enough finally for figure. So my first show was Royal Westwick Ramble, end of August in
oh,
Maiden.
right, yeah, he made
So-
an end. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
been there.
so I've done this one to be able to qualify for the European. And so I stepped on stage for the first time for the season in figure, and the judges just put me aside of the lineup, didn't look at me. Like, they just looked at me during my presentation, and then they were like, all right, she's out, she's on the
All right,
side. And
she's not a figure girl.
well, that's what
Probably
I
they
understood later on. But when you're on stage and the
Mhm.
judges are not even looking at you, it's very disheartening. Like, you're like,
yeah,
what's going on?
Of course, you work so hard to get on that stage. Now that you do display your work if the judges are not looking. Yeah, it can be disheartening. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a very weird feeling. But then I got the feedback from the judge, the head judge, and he told me that I was way too big for figure and that I should go for women's bodybuilding. So it's the first feedback I got, and
Oh, straight from
Yeah.
figure to women's bodybuilding. No transition into physique. No.
No, he told me
Okay.
women's bodybuilding, but then I answered that for me women's bodybuilding is way too big, so I will go for women's physique, but not women's bodybuilding. And he was like, fair enough, you can also do women's physique. So this is why for the
Okay.
European, I did both figure and women's physique. I did figure again,
Yes,
just
exactly.
because I wanted to know how I was looking on a pro qualifier lineup. Because on a regional lineup and a pro qualifier lineup, things can be very different. So it's not
Yeah.
because he told I was way too big on that lineup for the regional. I was twice the size of the other girls. So I get it.
Yeah.
But maybe on a pro qualifier lineup, I would blend in and be competitive and be at the same level. So this is why I decided to do figure and women's physique, so I could see how I fit and where I should go, like moving forward. So I did both. I did women's physique on Saturday, and on Sunday I did figure. And so the thing is, I had only 2 weeks to learn women's physique posing and create a routine.
Oh, right. So everything was new. Like in 2 weeks,
Oh
you
yeah,
had to learn the poses. Oh, wow.
because just after the
Wow.
feedback of the
That's
judge, after the regional, which was like 31st of August, yeah, it was only 2 weeks till the European. So I had only 2 weeks to learn women's physique posing. So every single evening after work, I was in my room upstairs and trying to learn.
practicing. Yeah.
So yeah, and I created my
Well, you
routine.
did a great job.
Yeah, but like
Nobody noticed that it was your first time as a women's physique
Yeah.
athlete. So you did well.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, and like fun fact, I created my routine on Thursday and stepped on stage on Saturday. So like Thursday evening at 11 p.m. I created my routine. So
Wow.
so I was a bit stressed, but I just didn't have time with work.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I did my best and then stepped on stage at Women's Physique, and I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun on stage.
That's great. Yeah, it was, and it's great to see. Also, there was a really good lineup. Probably the best amateurs lineup I've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
this year. Because
sure.
yeah, I've seen a few shows, but this one definitely had at least the three of you, the top three, you were the best I've seen in amateur shows.
Yeah,
recently.
it was a very good show,
Quite
very
well.
good athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you decided to continue and try again the following week, right?
Yeah,
In Sweden.
so exactly. So first of all, we figure I didn't do well because of course I was too big. So the same, I
Yeah.
was like, it was very clear from the judges that I should go with women's physique from now on. So I was like,
Were you happy to change, or you thought, I really
No.
wanted to do figure, but or you think, yeah, you feel more comfortable in heavier divisions?
well, I really liked women's physique. I just had so much fun on stage compared to figure. Like figure is kind of very boring because you have only 4 poses, and I feel like you cannot really
True.
show your muscularity very well. But women's physique, it's very fun. You have a ton of poses,
It's fun.
so it makes things very
You
fun.
get yeah, and you get to do also pose down in the end.
Pose
While in
down,
figure, I don't
you
think
have a routine.
yeah.
Yeah,
The routine as well, yeah, very important. So you get more, and also in women's physique, you don't have huge lineups of 50 athletes, like could be in figure, but I mean wellness and figure, they never end. They keep coming, and it gets, and maybe they get like 30 seconds on stage. It's not even. as exciting as other divisions where you can, you can do all your routine. There are several poses, different comparisons. So it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like
And
it
yeah,
was night
please.
and day. It was just like a lot more time on stage, a lot more fun. So this is why I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going with Women's Physique. I really enjoyed it. So because I was so close from the pro card, right? I was just second to the pro card winner. I was like, so my initial plan was doing another regional, which was in fact yesterday or today, and then do the British Championship because it's in my city. It's in Sheffield,
Oh,
so it's in my city.
okay,
Like,
you're in Sheffield. Right.
exactly, it's like 10 minutes away by car from my place. So I was like, it's
All
really worth.
right. Well, makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
So I was like, it's really worth doing this show, right? Because it's like so close, it's so convenient. So my initial plan was the European, then another regional, because with two bro, you need to do another regional to qualify for the British. So it was my
Yeah.
initial plan. But I was like, I'm so close from the pro card that I think I could shoot my
Yeah, of
shot
course.
because it was like just a weekend after. So I was like, you know what, why not? So this is why I decided to go to Sweden for another pro qualifier to potentially get a pro card. And then if not, keep going. But things didn't really go to plan either. I brought my best physique, so I improved a ton between the
You
European
did.
and Sweden. Like my stage weight at the European was 69, and in Sweden it was 66. So I lost 3 kilograms in only a week.
All right, you dropped. So you improved your conditioning in Sweden.
Yeah, exactly. Because for the European, I wanted to be full. So I brought fullness. I was very full. But when you bring fullness, you lose a bit of conditioning. You cannot have really both at the same time. You have a degree of conditioning loss, right? And the
Yeah,
winner
yeah.
at the European, she was very, very conditioned. And I think she mostly won on the conditioning part, especially from the back with the hamstring
Yeah.
and glutes. So this is
True.
why I was like, if the pro card winner won because she had a bit more conditioning than me, then I should bring more conditioning and less fullness for the next one. So it's what I've done. So I was not full, like I didn't load like crazy amount of carb at all. It was like kind of moderate carb, moderate fats, but nothing extreme, like very low. Just to be able to be absolutely shredded, very conditioned, and bring a lot better conditioning on stage.
I see, and to be honest, I've seen the pictures, I've seen the videos circulating on Instagram, and it was, to my opinion, that was an easy win for you, but it didn't go as expected, which was a total surprise, but not only for me as a spectator or from some of the people that were there and watched. I know AJ
Yeah.
that he said very clearly that you were on another level compared to the others. They
Yeah.
didn't have legs. I mean, with all due respect, but yeah, it was disappointing. Unfortunately, that's bodybuilding judging sometimes can go in an unexpectable. How do you say? Unexplicable
Yeah.
ways. Yeah. So unexpected results, and yeah, it's a shame, but from my understanding is that the result of this competition made you think about another switch, right, to women's bodybuilding, or was it already
Yeah.
before you were thinking
No, it was
about
not
that?
before, definitely not. So when I stepped on stage on this day, first of all, just looking at the other athletes, the lineup was absolutely not the same level as European. Like the European was a
Oh
very
no,
big
completely.
lineup. very competitive, very good athletes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Sweden, it was not a good lineup at all. So I felt like, to be honest, I think I can get a pro card.
Yeah.
Because especially like looking at the other athletes and very objectively on stage, I just, to be honest, think I had the better physique, and everybody told me the same thing.
Yeah.
So everybody was a bit shocked, to be honest, and I was also a bit shocked because like it made no sense. Like people watching the live stream or even like being in the public, they were like, what's going on? But anyway, as you said, we cannot know what's going on with the judges, right?
Yeah, but especially, I mean, I could understand if they see, I don't know, a bit better conditioning here or a better symmetry or whatever, but there was none of this in favor of the other athletes, especially the legs.
Yeah.
I mean, the legs, if there's no balance, how can you expect an athlete to compete at pro level with athletes that have got double the size of the quads and calves? But don't worry. It's just a little delay, but it's gonna come.
Yeah, but like because of that and the fact that the judging was completely off, it just completely also put me off because I was like, I was just mentally done with the season after that. I was like, there's no point continuing after the race because like it's just so much time, effort, money, traveling, everything. I brought my best physique ever. I couldn't have done better. It was really my best. I picked perfectly, brought the physique I wanted to bring. So there was like no more room for more improvements. So pushing one more month to do the British made no sense to me because I was like, I would just compromise my health and my femininity.
No, it's not worth it. Yeah.
It's just not worth it because like if I could still improve, yes, but I couldn't improve more than what I brought. So I was like, there's no point. So this is why I decided to stop. So I was like, let's stop the season there. And later on, I got some feedback from the judges from Sweden. So I DM'd all the judges. Didn't get any answer.
Yeah, you did the right thing. It's your right to know. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I think
it's important.
It's the only thing you have to do. You have to ask for feedback, right? So
absolutely.
So what I've done is I DM'd the head judge. That was like at Royal Rush. So my first show, the head judge, who told me Womens Bodybuilding, he was next to Tyler Mannion at the European. So he was judging too at the European.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know who he is. Yeah.
He was right next to him. So he was kind of like in the center, like the judges. So I asked his opinion again. I was like, okay, so now you've seen me as a woman's physique. Because he saw me as figure and he saw me as woman's physique. So I was like, what do you think? What should I do next?
Exactly, yeah.
I told him also like, I went in Sweden, it didn't go as well. So I was wondering, should I go for women's bodybuilding then? So I asked him that and he said, if you want to stay with women's physique, you need to have a small waist. If you cannot do that, you have to go for women's bodybuilding. The thing is, my waist, meaning like, if I had abdominal distension, yes, you can do vacuum, you can do like abdominal work to control your waist, but it's not a matter of distension. It's a matter of I have no space between my hips and ribs. So if I have no space,
so it's physically not possible.
Yeah, I would need to remove ribs to be able to have a waist. But I'm just like
maybe. As much as you love being a bodybuilder, maybe the ribs, you want to keep them and find a different way to compete.
Yeah. Exactly. So because I'm not willing to remove ribs and because of my skeleton this way, then there's no point trying to fit in women's physique because I will always look bad compared to a female with a better waist than me and a better structure for women's physique. So instead of always being limited by my structure, I think it's better to work with my structure. And in this case, I think women's bodybuilding is just the way to go. And then I got the
Yeah.
feedback from the judges in Sweden. So from 2 of the 5 judges in Sweden, and they both told me, you are way too big for women's physique. You have to go for women's bodybuilding.
Which is fair enough. To be honest, when I saw you on that stage, yeah, I was saying, "Oh, she could do women's bodybuilding." I actually was expecting you to come out in the women's bodybuilding, but there was only the other lady. I can't remember her name. That she competed alone.
Yeah, she was around.
British
I don't remember her name either, but I talked to her backstage. She's really nice.
Yeah, 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 and she had to compete alone. But that's a problem with women's bodybuilding nowadays.
Yeah.
Doesn't rarely we have the minimum number of 5 athletes in order to issue the pro card. But at least, yeah, you can still request it. So that's at least there is a way. So if
Yeah.
they see that you have the physique for a pro athlete, yeah, they cannot deny the pro card.
Well, I think it's the only way to become a pro as women's bodybuilding, right?
It is.
Like,
It is.
especially in Europe, because I think in the US they may have a bit more competitors, but in Europe I feel like it's still a very small category, and it's not very popular, I would say. So it's usually like 1 or 2 athletes. So I think the only way is requesting a pro card to get one as a women's bodybuilder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I guess, I mean, looking at your structure, your genetic, yeah, you're definitely. I can see you more on the women's bodybuilding stage.
Like, to be honest,
I mean, you would look great on women's physique as well, but I don't know. I can see that type of physique for the future.
yeah, but like, so first of all, I feel very, very small right now. I feel like I'm miles away from because same, I'm looking at the Olympia lineup because they are like the best ones.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So I'm looking at them and I'm like, they are the ultimate goal because they are the best in the world. So, and when I'm looking at them, I'm like, they are absolutely huge.
No, but yes,
I'm not
but
like
no, not now. But there's the important is not being in a rush. I think in bodybuilding, you have to do things one step at a time. I mean, you're young, you've got that passion and dedication to achieve everything. So just take your time, have a long off season, grow, do what you need to do, speak to your coach, and then next year you'll decide. If you feel ready, you can step on stage. Otherwise, you can wait the following year. But there's no rush unless you are eager to step on that pro stage soon. It may even happen as well. So.
well, first of all, it will be
You
very
will see,
easy
yeah?
to stick to my coach because I am my own coach. So that's an easy thing to do.
All right. You are coaching yourself.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. I'm very impressed because I mean, majority of athletes without their coach, I don't know if they could do it. It's not an easy and but you're a doctor as well, so probably you have also some knowledge to be able to advise yourself on how to.
Yeah, like,
proceed.
of course, being a doctor, I have a lot of knowledge about physiology, pharmacology, these kind of things. But I'm also a coach. Like, I would say, like, I'm full-time vet and part-time coach.
Okay.
So I started coaching like 6 or 7 years ago. So I'm doing that like,
fantastic.
yeah. So like during my weekends, I'm
Do you
doing all
have
my sessions.
Do you have an Instagram for your coaching business?
Yeah,
So I can
yeah.
put it in this video.
Yeah, it's like in
Yeah.
my bio on my main Instagram. You have my Instagram for the coaching also.
All right, perfect. I'll add it in the description of this video and also as a text on the video.
So yeah,
Yes, please
so
continue.
coaching myself from the very beginning. I never got a coach. So for 9 years, I'm coaching myself now.
Impressive.
And I'm really liking it.
Impressive.
So I don't want any kind of other coach because I love like trying on my body, experimenting. It makes me be a better athlete, a better coach for my clients also,
True.
and for myself. So it's just like the best thing ever. It's not easy all the time because like you have to be objective, but when it's about yourself, it's very hard. But I'm loving it so far, and it went well. So I have no issue with that, and I love it. I don't plan to get any other coach except myself.
All right, cool. I mean, you're doing an excellent job. I'm impressed knowing that. Yeah, you're starting competing. You've got big goals, and you're doing it yourself. So very impressive. I think you're gonna have a really good career as a coach as well, not only as athlete.
Well, yeah,
That
yeah,
would be
we'll
great.
see.
Yeah.
I really love coaching, so yeah, I'm really enjoying that, and I want to keep it as a.
Do you have any clients at the moment? Do you have
Oh yeah.
a few clients you manage? But you manage online, in person?
No, only
How does
online.
it-
Only online. I have because of my
Online, yeah.
work as a vet. It's 40 hours per week, so I really don't have time for one-to-one. So it's only online clients.
Fair
I
enough.
have 15 clients at the moment. So I'm like maxing out because 15 clients. The way I'm doing my coaching,
15.
yeah,
Wow.
I'm like
That's
just very,
good.
very like perfectionist. Everything is very personalized, individualized. So it takes a lot of time. So 15 is like I cannot have more clients because with my
Can
main job as a
imagine.
vet, it's just like my whole weekend is like coaching, coaching, coaching. And during the week,
Yeah,
of course, I answer messages and stuff, questions, correct
yeah.
techniques. And
Actually, that is taking me to my next question, which you're kind of answering already. So, how do you balance a full-time job as a as a veterinary and at the same time, training, preparing all your meals, coach 15 other people? I mean, it must be a very demanding week, like 7 days a week, yeah?
yeah, I have
How do
no
you do
days
it?
off.
What's your secret? Eh?
I have no days off. It's very intense. I'm not gonna lie,
No
it's
days
not
off.
easy because, so I'm working as a vet from Monday to Friday, 40 hours. I'm also working on Saturdays from time to time, full day. So what I'm doing is all my coaching check-ins are during the weekend because it's like where I
Okay.
have the most time available for other things. So I'm doing all my coaching check-ins during the weekend, and then during the week I'm answering questions. I'm correcting like training videos, for example. So all this kind of stuff during the week, but the big like coaching check-ins and everything is during the weekend. For my
During the
training, I'm training in the evening after work. So usually from like 8 to 10 p.m. When I finish late. Because I finish at 7 usually when I have a full day. But I have also half days at work where I finish around maybe 1 p.m. So it's where I train legs. So on Tuesday and Friday, I train legs in the afternoon. And then the rest of the week, I train like back or shoulders in the evening. And then during the weekend, I'm training too, of course. And then I'm not prepping my meal. I do like flexible dieting. So it's kind of depends on the day. I have, of course, like some kind of structure. Okay, I'm not doing random shit. I have a structure.
No, of course,
and
yeah.
principles and
You're a
stuff.
coach, you know what you're doing, yeah.
Exactly, but I have enough knowledge on like nutrition to do a very good flexible diet. So I have no issue with that. I'm doing that all the time. Even prep, I was doing flexible dieting. Okay, so the whole time. So at least I don't have to like prepare my meals. I kind of like go with the flow, I would say, respecting for my principles and structure with like 4 meals per day and everything like fruits, veggies, everything. And then when I was doing posing, it was usually like after my training, for example, or just in my house in the evening in front of my mirror. So
practicing, yeah.
so yeah,
So you never, of course, you were coaching yourself on posing as well.
yeah,
So you did everything. Wow, that's
yeah,
impressive. Yeah, because normally, yeah, with the athletes I speak here on the podcast, yeah, they all have a coach for posing, a coach for a training coach, a nutrition coach, and everything. So it can be quite demanding and expensive as well, because I mean, being an athlete, a competitive athlete, considering also the very low prices, the prizes that they give out, especially in the women's division. So, yeah, competing for a show can be very expensive for everything, from the registration, the time, the whole preparation, of course. And if you have a second job as well, and at the same time it's a coaching job that allows you to coach yourself, learn, and not paying another coach for that, it's a huge a huge thing in your favor for your future. Yeah,
definitely, yeah.
because yeah, and what is one thing about bodybuilding that you don't like, you would like to change? We know you love the sport, but if there is something about it, can be anything. It could be in the prizes, for example, or the way they do the quality, anything.
Well,
Or you think it's perfect? I don't know. Maybe
no, it's never perfect, right?
no. It's never perfect. Yeah.
So definitely, I would say for sure, like more recognition for the women, because I feel like, as you say, like guys, they have massive prizes like classic physique, open. They have a lot of money when they like win a show, but
Yeah,
for women,
it's
like,
ridiculous, the difference.
it's a lot lower, which is really bad. And also, I would say maybe some more structure rules about judging. So it's kind of the same. I know it's very subjective, right? But for example, Tyler
No,
Mannion
but
is like a very good and fair judge, and for
yeah,
every single athlete at the right placing. Like it was so
yeah,
fair.
he's fair. Yeah, and he's the big boss. Of course, he wants to have things running properly and
Yeah.
not
So
silly mistakes or anything that is not fair. Yeah.
yeah, so I would say if every show could be the same, it would be ideal, because like I feel like some judging is like completely off sometimes. Different judges like different things, and it can vary so much from one show to the other. Like you can be last in a show and first in another one with like a week apart, which makes no sense. I know it depends
It's
on the
so
lineup,
weird. Yeah.
but sometimes it's not only about the lineup, sometimes only about like the judging itself. So I feel like if the judging was a bit more, I would say, homogeneous and balanced in between the shows and between the judges, it would be a lot better, because like as athletes we would know what we have to bring exactly. Because sometimes they want more conditioning, sometimes they tell you like you're too conditioned, so you're like, what do you want? Because like, yeah, there is a main same criteria, right? It's written the criteria, but it still has a lot of variation from one judge to the other. And I feel like if it could be kind of more like the same and very fair for every show, like Tyler Mannion kind of judging for every single show, it would be so much better, because we would know exactly what we have to bring, and it wouldn't be like a hit or miss kind of. So I think it could be ideal, but I guess it's very hard to do, because like it's very subjective, and Tyler cannot be everywhere to teach every single judge, right?
Yeah.
So
True. But at least we hope at least in a. I'm not saying it has to be perfect. The judging, yeah, it could be maybe it's better this athlete than that athlete, first and second position, but it's when it's too obvious that
Yeah.
I don't like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
when you see, come on, this athlete, you can see that she's better. She's done. She's got a better conditioning, better size, better symmetry, everything. And then seeing this person not being recognized, I don't know. It makes me sad because everybody's doing their best and they're doing it with a lot of effort, sacrifices, money, time, everything to put every athlete put into the sport to get on stage. And then if you see such a disheartening results, yeah, I understand it's not good for the sport. But,
Yeah, exactly,
yeah,
because
this is
it's
one
not
of
only
those.
about us, like it's also about the image of bodybuilding and NPC. Because like when you have these kind of shows and then sometimes you look at the comment, for example, I don't know, on Instagram, you have a picture of the lineup and then everybody's like, what the fuck is going on? Because like everybody can see that something is wrong here. So it's not a good message for them
Exactly.
either.
True. Yeah, and also another thing that this is my personal opinion, but one thing I would like to see changing is, you know, when they do the Olympia qualifier. Yeah, so only at the moment, only the winner of a pro show is qualified to compete to the Olympia. The problem is that one athlete, if she wins or he wins the pro show and is qualified, he can still show up the following week and do it again, win it again, and then yeah. Last year, with all due respect, she's top 2 in the world, but Natalia Coelho, she did three pro shows and won all the three of them. And for this reason, none of the other athletes that came second could have this chance. It's not that if someone gets the pro card, it's like competing for the pro card. You get the pro card and you keep showing up to pro qualifier and winning the pro card. What's the point of that? So if at least a pro winner decide to compete again as a pro in the following stage, if that pro wins again, at least by default the qualification goes also to the second. We need to give everyone access, otherwise the Olympia stage is not going to be as with such an exciting lineup as it used to be, because it's going to be limited. Plus, let's not forget that quite a few athletes are not going to be able to compete because they don't get the visa to compete in America. So there are all vacant spots that are just like that, and it's a shame. Because
I totally agree.
these are the things that, and of course the prizes. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I keep saying it. I discussed it with a lot of other people. They need to try to find a way to balance it out, because I mean, to me, I pay one ticket to go to see the show and I see them all, right? So why some of these athletes that work as hard as everybody else should be winning prizes that are 5-10 times more rich than other divisions? I don't know.
So
I don't like this. Yeah.
I listened to a podcast with Tyler Mannion and Henry Rabod, and they were saying that, Henry was just saying why the women are paid less, and Tyler said that it's because of the sponsors. So they give money to the category they want, and usually they give it to classic or open because it's very popular. And women's classes are not really popular, especially big muscular classes, I don't know, Womens Bodybuilding, Womens Physique. It's not really popular, and usually it's not really funded. So this is why the prices are not.
Yes. But yes, I've heard this, this explanation, which I can understand, but at the same time, I don't know if I agree with the fact that it's not popular. Because when I go to see the show, and I've been to many shows, both amateur and pro, and unless they are very early in the morning, otherwise, women's bodybuilding, women's physique show, there are lots of people watching. And I don't see any difference with even with the open men's bodybuilding. It's not that much difference, but I understand that some sponsors don't want to give extra money for one. For example, a few weeks ago, I was getting upset because there was the wellness division. They were getting double the price of the women's physique and women's bodybuilding and figure. Why? Apparently, there was a sponsor behind that sponsored the wellness, but I don't know.
Exactly.
I wish I was like Jake Wood, a millionaire, and that could invest and put some money in it. I wish, but unfortunately, but I'm sure that if we get a chance if people have a chance to get to know what's behind the preparation, all the work, the sacrifices to get on stage, and they get broadcasted more often, so people can follow. I think they will change their mind. Unfortunately, there is this negative, not all the time, but the average person have the wrong opinion about women's bodybuilding because they don't know it. They just see a picture and they come with assumption, and this thing it upsets me because I think if there was enough space online, on TV, or anywhere to promote this sport, I think it could grow. I mean, I can see it's grown compared to 20 years ago, but still not enough.
Well, it's all about popularity, image, right? Like wellness girls, they look very sexy and nice. They look very good. So of course it's like more marketable, right? And people want to look the same. They want big glutes, big legs. They want to look sexy. So wellness is very popular right now compared to women's physique and women's bodybuilding, because these classes, when you speak to random people and you say women's bodybuilding, they think mass monsters, very virilized, looking like guys. So it's not popular because they're like, oh my god, it's like freaks. They look bad. They look old. They look like guys.
Yes,
So I think
because
it's about the image you bring, right? If we bring a bit more femininity in women's bodybuilding, I think it could help.
I totally agree. I
So
totally
yeah,
agree. But I think this is also what I think the judges are going for. If you look at the top 3 athletes in women's bodybuilding, like Andrea Shaw she's got a very feminine look. Same thing, Angela Yo, or who came third? I don't remember now. But anyway, there are lots of beautiful athletes that compete as women bodybuilder. But unfortunately, if you watch a movie or a TV show where every time they portray a female bodybuilder, they try to give that false bad image on, and that's what people see when because they don't go to shows, they don't see them normally in gyms, so they don't know their stories, what they've done to get there, all the sacrifice. They just see that look that I've seen maybe somewhere on social media, on TV, where people make all the random comments, and that keep their mind limited to that just to that type of idea they have of women's bodybuilding, but they have never seen a show. They've never even talked to anyone and understand what they really do to get there.
Well,
So
I think
I
also
don't
it's
know.
about like social networks, and I feel like you have a lot of bikini wellness figure athletes on YouTube, a lot on Instagram, like very famous, I would say, athlete influencers, a lot of followers. But when you look at women's physique and women's bodybuilding, usually the athletes are not posting much. Like they are not really posting stories. It's only like marketing or promotion
Yeah,
stuff. It's not really like showing
yeah,
what
that's
they're
true.
doing. They are not on YouTube. They don't have YouTube channels. They are not really present on Instagram. They're not showing themselves. They're not sharing their lives. They are not sharing their training. They're not like talking to people. So I feel like they're not really putting themselves like out there, so people cannot really
Yeah,
relate to them, and they don't really get to know
you're
them
right.
because they're not really talking about themselves. They're not really out there compared to a lot of figure athlete, bikini and wellness, which are like a lot more present on like social media. So I think it's also a big thing here, because like for example, I was looking at Instagrams of some top girls, and I like following people and kind of like see what they're doing and stuff. And when you look at their stories, it's only about selling supplements or selling like, I don't know, gym clothing, but it's never about what they're doing. So it's like very like boring. There's nothing there, no content, like nothing.
That's
So
true.
you cannot really
That's
relate to
true.
them, and it's like no point following them because nothing happens. They don't share anything.
Yeah, yeah, I noticed that, especially like yeah, Sarah Villegas and Natalia Coelho. They're not posting much. Very, very few updates.
Mm,
I don't even know what Natalia looks like at one
yeah,
week from the Olympia. She hasn't posted anything. I don't know. Maybe she wants to keep it as a surprise. But at the same time, I know what you're saying. We if we want to have these athletes as an example, we need to see what they do, so people gets motivated to follow their steps and maybe step
exactly.
on stage one day. So yeah,
And like
I
the more you
totally.
share about your life and about what you're doing and stuff, the more people can relate to you and kind of bind, kind of in a way, like they relate, and then
Exactly.
they're getting interested, they follow you, they talk about you. And I think it's like really lacking in women's bodybuilding and women's physique, where they're not sharing
Yeah.
anything. So of course it's not as popular because they're not out there. But if some athletes were like sharing more, I think like more people will follow them and get to know them and relate, and then it will be a lot better.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And that's pretty much also what we are doing here. Me with my channel and the guys of the female bodybuilding channel as well. We're trying to reach out athletes, invite them to tell their story like we're doing right now, and I really like how this is going because I've had the chance to hear stories from incredible athletes, and the more I get to know in the story, like in your story as well, what you were telling me, that you are a veterinary, that you work full time, and at the same time you are a coach and you're training 15 other people. So I mean, these are all things that the majority don't know, people don't know, and they just assume seeing a picture, they think they just know everything about that person. And while in reality, I want athletes to tell their story, to see that there are lots of people that would like to follow your steps, and maybe hearing from your words what your journey has been and what has developed now. Maybe other athletes that would like to do it, but maybe they don't have that courage to step on stage or to speak to a trainer and ask, okay, would you like to train me or prepare me to a show? So I think it's important that athletes like yourself and many others keep showing what you do, keep posting progress, updates, and I'm trying to, and the guys, the female bodybuilding channel, we're trying to keep posted the results of the shows, pictures, videos. We go to shows, we do interviews, try to keep it alive, and it's I'm surprised how much my channels have been growing, because I can see there are people interested, people that wants to know, people that try to guess who's gonna win. There are debates on this, and I like that, and I would like that it keeps growing, because the sports needs it. So, but at the same time, yeah, as you were saying, yeah, it would be good to have the contribution also from the athletes to post a little bit more updates. Also, because most of the time, I don't know about who's gonna compete until a week before the show, when they release the full official. But normally it's just a guess. Or speaking to this athlete, okay, I may do that show, I might do that, I will do that. Okay, so I can announce it. So try to keep it, alive, because it's a beautiful sport. It's full of amazing athletes, and it must grow. It needs to keep going. So I really, really hope. We're gonna see a lot of more shows in the following years, so, especially here in Europe. I'm trying to go to all the big shows here in Europe. So I'm gonna go to Romania probably next month. I've been last year and the year before. It's amazing. The Muscle Fest show. It's totally worth it. And so and more people should come to this show or buy the live streaming. So that's very important. Even though, have you seen the cost of the live streaming for the Olympia?
It's
next week.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's and the ticket to attend is around $400 starting. I think something like that. Ooh. So and it's already almost all sold out. So there are money going there. Distribute them equally in the prizes. So if Mr. Olympia get 100,000, what does he get? $100,000?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe even more. No, maybe even more, Mr. Olympia.
Are you sure? I don't know.
Miss Olympia, 50 grand.
Yeah.
I think. Mr. Olympia probably is 100,000. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think something like that, definitely.
Something like that, yeah. Well, with all the money they make with all the tickets and live streaming, because it's a good show in Las Vegas. Okay, it's very expensive to run a show over there, but they're getting the good profit. So,
like, when you think about all the athletes at each single show, it's every single show. Like, it's a fuck ton of athletes every single time, and most of them are not winning, right? It's only one winner.
Exactly. So most of them bring home nothing. Yeah. So, exactly. And also, I mean, all the monies that go in the city, like next week in Las Vegas, it's bringing so much money, so many sponsors, so many athletes, but not only bodybuilders. Every sort of sport is gonna. Oh, I see you've got a friend there. Your cat or dog?
Cat.
It's a cat. Yeah. Ah, nice. So that we will see what's gonna be the future for bodybuilding, but I want to believe that it's still, because they keep saying, oh, it's gonna die, but it never dies. It's been since the 80s and it's still running, going strong. There are people passionate, people that wants to compete, and we want to have the women's division to keep going as well. That's very important.
I agree.
I think I nearly took a whole hour of your time. Before we leave, is there anything else you want to add? Anyone you wants to thank, or anything you want to say? A message for the audience?
Well, I would say like,
Or
yeah, just like following more women's physique, women's bodybuilding athletes, getting to
yes,
know them, follow their
yes,
journey. I think it's a very good sport, and I think some athletes are amazing, but just not really
exactly.
popular. So I think it's nice to follow this kind of people. And yeah,
Yes,
just getting interested, going to shows. But I'm really trying to like kind of bring a fresh look to women's bodybuilding in a way, like as I say, like sharing my journey, because I'm my own coach, so I have nothing to hide. Like I can be very transparent,
absolutely.
and
Yeah,
I love sharing my journey, like showing what I'm doing, explaining what I'm doing, like on YouTube, on Instagram. I'm
yeah,
very conscious with what I'm doing with like PED use. I want to stay very feminine. I kept all my features when I started enhancement in 2022, and I want to keep it the same. Like the thing is with women's bodybuilding, the level of muscularity required is kind of pushing the ladies to use a lot. But like what I would like to bring is kind of still a feminine look and not losing my features and being very, very
exactly.
light.
Yes, that's
So it
very
takes
important.
a lot of time because like you cannot rush it, you cannot hammer the drugs. But I think it's worth
True,
it.
true.
Like bringing a fresh feminine look would be, I think, good for women's bodybuilding. Because, for example, when the judge told me for the first time I should go for women's bodybuilding, I told him like I'm too small, but also I don't want to be like to lose my femininity just to be competitive. So I think like yeah, one of the main thing would be it would be good to have a bit more femininity and freshness to women's bodybuilding.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. We need, an athlete, a fresh athlete like yourself that is bringing this sort of features in women's bodybuilding, keeping the femininity, but at the same time with the nice, how can I say, round volume that is required in women's bodybuilding division. So I'm sure next year you're gonna do really, really good.
Well,
You've
I think
got
I
that
will.
passion that drives you.
I don't think I will compete next year, to be honest. I think I will compete the
Yeah,
year after. Because if I
fair
compete
enough.
next
Yeah.
year, I would have only 5 months off season, which is not enough to grow.
No, no, you're right. Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think I will compete in 2026.
yeah. That makes perfect sense. So you got a full year to do things gradually, which is very important, and you can control your everything about your physique, the way you're feeling during the prep without rushing, and then in 2026 you will decide on which stage to go to. But I'm sure it's gonna be fantastic. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I think that's it for now. But thank you very much, Eleonore, for tuning in today and talking to me, telling a bit of your story. And I hope we can do another time later in a few months
Yeah.
whenever you feel ready. It would be good to get an update and see where you are, because you're gonna be the new face of women's bodybuilding. So everybody's
We'll
is
see.
gonna be curious. Yes, yes, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. All right. So yeah, I'm going to close the session shortly. I will be uploading it in the next couple of days. I just need to put it in a nice format and then upload it. Do you have the address of the podcast in YouTube? I mean, I will tag you when I post it.
Yeah, I think yeah, I do. Yeah,
I think I sent you the link of the
yeah,
of
yeah.
the podcast. Yeah, I've got the channel where I cover shows, do featuring some athletes, and then I've got also the podcast where I interview and speak to athletes like yourself. Okay, perfect. Thanks again, and I hope you have a lovely evening, Saturday night, and tomorrow I hope you can get some rest because you work hard all week. No rest. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe a little sleep, a little more sleep.
Yeah,
tonight.
at least I'm sleeping in. I never compromise on my sleep. I'm always sleeping like 9 hours during the
Yes,
weekend.
because
Yeah.
that's important.
Oh yeah.
Don't take your sleep away. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
No,
very
I need
important.
it.
Okay, fantastic. All right, Eleonore. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. I'll tag you as soon as I post it. Okay.
All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Okay.
Bye.
Ciao. Au revoir. Bye.